Congratulations on landing on an island of common sense and sensibility, surrounded by an ocean of stupid on a criminal level. Welcome now to the Fat Man's Guide podcast. Chapter 3, The Search for Stupid. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Remember that with the Fat Man's Guide, you can follow us on Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher, Spotify, and hopefully shortly all the other locations that you normally get your podcasts. Please, like I've said before, please like, subscribe. Please share this with anyone that you think might be interested or might find it entertaining. So today, I actually changed up what I was going to talk about. I had already had a plan that I was going to cover a couple different things. I had some viewers who had expressed some interest in some economic stuff, and also talking a little bit about the Illuminati and the powers that be. And again, I'm not forgetting you guys. I'm definitely going to get to it. I've already kind of got some stuff working. I'm hoping those will be two of my next episodes this week, so be on the lookout for them. But I'm looking at a lot of news stories because it's the weekend, and I go back to the first chapter of the Fat Man's Guide, the Human Menace. And this last week, in 1 week's time, I've been kind of blown away at the level of stupid that we've all gotten a chance to endure during this COVID-19 situation. And I decided, you know what? I've got to be able to kind of, call some of this out just because of how dumb it is. And so today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. And I want to make sure everyone understands before I get into this, because some of this stuff is a little bit political. I need you to understand that I'm an independently minded individual. I don't feel like I need to share exactly what my political feelings are, but I would say this. I am definitely got some liberal and some conservative temperament to me. I'm probably a little bit more of a libertarian than anything else, but that being a conservative individual from an economic standpoint, and probably a little bit more liberal when it comes to some of the social aspects. So I want everyone to understand that when I start talking here in a couple minutes, that if I'm ripping something that's liberal or conservative, don't just automatically assume that if I'm ripping something that's liberal, that I'm clearly some right-wing Nazi or something like that, because I'm not. And also, don't get all butthurt if all of a sudden I am going to rip something that is conservative or a conservative individual. I think that everyone, both liberal and conservative, both, if you earn the opportunity to get ripped on, you should be. So what I wanted to start out talking about today was a New York Post story that I saw that it really kind of annoyed me. And the article that was written in it was woke stupidity. So obviously already all you guys who are liberally minded, you're already thinking, oh no, he's going after all the liberal people. Oh man, he's some kind of alt-right. No, that's not the case. All right. And that's not the case. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be talking about conservative people in the future. I equally hate everybody, okay? But in this story, what I saw that kind of fired me up a little bit was I saw these Hollywood stars that are coming out at this point in time, and they're really kind of pushing agendas. And I don't have a problem with you pushing agendas. You more than well. Hell, I'm on a podcast. I guarantee you I'm somehow pushing an agenda, mostly that stupid people shouldn't be stupid. But everyone's pushing an agenda, and I'm fine with that. But I think you got to do it in the right way at the right time. Like two of the examples of this that I saw that just frustrated me. The first was Britney Spears, all right? And, it's been great not having to listen to anything from her for about the last 10 years. But she's now out there, and she's pushing this socialist agenda. And before everyone freaks out, all right, I'm not a socialist hater. I think socialism sounds like a wonderful thing. It's just not possible because human beings suck. All right. To make socialism work, and I'm not going to get into it. At some point, if you guys want, let me know in the comments below. I will put together an episode on socialism and capitalism. All right. But she's really kind of pushing this socialist agenda. And what I mean by this, I don't have a problem with socialist agenda. All right. I don't. I got family that believe in the socialist agenda. But what I get frustrated is when she's calling for strikes on companies and not to do any more producing until those companies and government officials start moving more to the left. What the hell is wrong with you, Brittany? You know, I know what's wrong with you, all right? First off, you got way too much freaking money, all right? But this is not the time to be striking. We cannot afford to have people go hungry because I need to be able to fight for $15 and that's not the time. This is not the time. All right, use a little. I say use a little common sense. You don't have any common sense. All right, I mean, holy smokes. At this point in time, people need to come together, need to work together because we need to be able to take care of people. The last thing we need to do, it's already difficult enough to get supplies. The last thing we need to do is strike. All right, that's dumb. And then another thing that I saw was Gal Gadot. I don't know if you guys know her or not. She plays Wonder Woman in the movies. I think she's pretty good actor. I actually like her movies. Will Ferrell, who I absolutely love, and Natalie Portman, who was, you know, in those Star Wars movies. They were part of a group of Hollywood people who came together and sang John Lennon's Imagine online, right? And they went through all this stuff. And I'm not saying all the people who sang that, I mean, I'm sure they were coming together to support people. But, you know, there is some ideology talk there when you look at some of the way that they handled it, so some of them, where they're talking about getting people equal and redistributing of wealth, all right, and being a lot more socialist than that ideology, which again, I have no problem with, all right. Here's my problem. It is great when filthy rich frickin' people right now, when there are lots of people who don't have jobs, unemployment jumped up this last week over 3 million because people don't have jobs, because businesses can't run, because everyone's being shut down. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's a reality. And so they're talking about all this ideology when you're filthy rich. When you're sitting there and you're putting together a video or you're talking about striking, when you're living in a $6 million freaking house, give me a break, man. You are so far from understanding reality. It's not even, well, we want to be here to be able to show our support to the little man. Well, then give back some of your wealth. You're all filthy frickin' rich. And I don't even begrudge them for being filthy rich. I think it's fine. You work your tail off. You're a damn good actor or actress or singer or whatever. You made a lot of money. Cool. Super for you. I think that's great. But I think it's a super a-hole move to sit there and talk about how the world needs to get better when you're part of the problem. I think it is so adorable. I mean, adorable when rich people talk about financial equality. Shut up. All right? Let me get away from that for a little bit because then I get all salty. What about this lady in PA? I know most of you guys had to see this because most of the people who are listening right now are probably from Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys saw this about the lady down in downstate Pennsylvania who went into a store and coughed on all of the food. All right? Everyone's freaking out, and you go in and cough up on a food, spreading whatever. And of course, she said, I don't have coronavirus, but what are you doing? They had $35,000 worth of food items you had to throw away. And I know you're going to say, they didn't have to throw. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. Because if someone gets sick, they're getting a lawsuit. I'm sorry. Again, this is almost like socialism. Let's talk about reality, all right? When people are like, well, how come they're closing everything up? Because no one wants sued. Everyone will sue everyone. So you got to throw away the food. So what happens? She gets arrested, right? And she says, oh, it's just a prank. It's not a prank. You went out there and you coughed on everything during a time period when it's not funny whatsoever. So what she's being charged with eco-terrorism. That is freaking hilarious. I love it. I absolutely. And of course her defense, well, you know, it's just a prank. You can't just put, no, you know what? I hope they throw the book at her because at this point in time right now, not cool. Absolutely not cool. But see, she's the problem, right? So we got these rich people who don't understand what reality is. She's the problem elsewhere. All these stupid people. What the hell were you thinking? That's a terrible thing to do. And you just want to say, it's a prank? No, you know what a prank is, all right? A prank is putting a little put that cellophane over the toilet bowl, all right? That's a prank, okay? This is not a prank. Now, going along with that, you guys remember all of those like coronavirus parties people were throwing, all right? And basically just daring that this would never happen to them. You know what I thought was hilarious? One of them down in Kentucky, they had a big coronavirus party. Someone in the party came down with it. And now the people are freaking out. And they're all concerned about whether or not, all right, hey, guess what? You wanted to double down on your douche, right? You wanted to be that person. You thought you were hilarious, wanted to tempt the fates. Well, here you are now. Now you're going to get sick. And you know what? Totally in line with that. Remember the millennials from chapter 1? Remember I talked about them? Not the millennials, the centennials. I'm sorry, millennials. I know we keep saying it. It's not your fault. You're not the dumb ones. All right. But all those centennial millennials from chapter 1, they went partying down there on the beaches. Matter of fact, the one kid quoted, "If I get corona, I get corona." All right, big tough guy. Well, come to find out, folks, that the group that kid was hanging with, as many as 5 of his friends ended up getting coronavirus. So much so that the kid who quoted, "If I get corona, I get corona," actually tweeted out and said he was sorry and he should have been more compassionate and respectful of what the situation was. See, that almost makes you believe in karma right there. When you see those individuals getting smacked like that. But neither of those topped the TikTok influencer who licked a public toilet. Did you guys see this? All right. This TikTok influencer named Lars, all right, decided to participate in the coronavirus challenge. And so what did he do? All right. I mean, he could have, licked a doorknob, licked something else. But of course, you know what he is? He's online. So he's a views whore, right? He needs to get as many views as possible. So he decided to lick a public toilet. All right. Now, first off, that's just disgusting and proves why he should never reproduce whatsoever. That's a terrible idea. But what was hilarious is within a week, he actually had to kind of come out and acknowledge the fact that he has himself come down with corona. Although he can't say that he got the corona from licking a toilet seat. Irrelevant. You licked a toilet seat, all right? You should not reproduce. Matter of fact, I would argue that a number of these people I just talked about should probably never reproduce, all right? Matter of fact, these are the people who should end up getting it. Not the innocent people who don't need to get it. All the people who've died, over the 2,000 people that have basically died in the last 2 weeks. All right? They should get it. And, kind of finishing it up, the one situation that I found not funny, but funny, was former Congressman Ron Paul. If you guys pay attention to politics, you know the Paul dynasty, right? You have Ron and Rand Paul, and I would actually say I, in the past, have been a bit of a Rand Paul fan because I am a libertarian ideology, and he's very similar to it. But, what I thought was a cute story was former Congressman Ron Paul, that'd be Rand's daddy from Texas, wrote an article entitled "The Coronavirus Hoax," in which he talked about how Democrats were only using this to make a power grab in Washington, which I do not doubt, because both Republicans and Democrats, I've already said this, they're both garbage, all right? They're always trying to take advantage of this stuff, okay? Unfortunately, within 6 days after publishing this article, his son, Senator Rand Paul, got it. But you know what really frustrated me? And this goes again with the stupidity. See, what frustrated me was that in spite of thinking that he may have it, even though he said he had no symptoms, which, by the way, is hilarious, because if you needed to go get a coronavirus test right now, you, the normal American, you would not get that test. They would say, "Oh, well, you've got a lot of the symptoms. Just come back when it's really bad, and then we'll check you and we'll count it, because we don't have enough of them." But you know what? Hey, don't worry. If you're rich and you're powerful, you can get as many tests as you want, all right? But I better just digress. So he had no symptoms. He thought he might have it. So he got tested, but during this time period, he didn't tell any of the other people he works with. He didn't tell any of the other congressmen or congresswomen. He still hung out with them, worked out with them in the workout room, the whole deal, right? And so now that he's got it, many of these congressmen and women are ticked that he did not warn them. But you know what's terrible about this? It's Paul's response. Literally, what did he say? He said, quote, "There are no laws saying I have to tell anyone." Dude, you're a douchebag. I'm sorry, it's what you are. That is terrible. How could you do that to other people? Because you don't care. You care about yourself. And unfortunately, that's what we find in a lot of these examples of people who are talking about what they think about this situation. Whether they be rich, whether they be politicians, whether they be morons in Kentucky or a guy named Lars, they don't care about other people. All right. Now, why does this happen? Because we've all decided that this virus is like our country or like our world, right? There are teams. There are good and bad, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, MSN or Fox News. Guess what? Here's the thing. If you're saying this is a hoax, go look at some of the stats. Go look at some of the numbers. Look at what's happened in Italy. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but it is definitely an issue. All right? It's definitely an issue that people have to deal with. And I'm not saying that the media is not playing it one. Look, both sides of the media are playing this. All right? You got to know this right now. You got to stop listening to just the media you like. Because right now, this is a gold mine for all of them. Again, I could do an entire episode on the media. All right? You're all watching the news 24/7 to see the latest information on what stuff that you can do nothing about. All the while, they're making piles of money from advertising. All right? Because they know that we're all sheeple and we're all just going to keep watching. All right? And if you're one of those people that says you hope people die to prove that this was a problem, dude, you're an a-hole. All right? There's nothing cool about hoping people die to prove yourself right. I'll tell you what. I got an idea. Right? If you're not forced into sheltering yet, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Get out into nature. I know some of you have a better opportunity to do it than others. If you're in a city, you don't necessarily have that. But if you can do it, go breathe actual fresh air. Socially distance, all right? Be smart, be calm, but enjoy yourself and your family. Because freaking out is not going to help anything. But it certainly will drive you crazy and probably everyone else around you. Hey guys, thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe, and I would love it if you would share this with anyone else you think would like it. Again, thanks for being here. Stay safe. And as always, live life to the fullest, even in crazy times like these. See ya.